Hey everyone, this is Troy from TroyPoint.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set up Android TV tools on your Windows PC so you will have dozens of secret utilities at your fingertips. In this video, I will show how to batch or mass install Android APKs onto your Android TV, Google TV system, and I will also show how to back up apps from an existing device and then restore all of them onto a different streaming box. Along the way, I will show you other cool things that this software can accomplish. A huge thanks goes out to Bernard Bernoulli, who is the developer that created this free software. I will provide links in the video notes to his information along with everything else that I reference in the video. Okay guys, I'm on my Windows PC. There's a few things I first want to check. I want to make sure that I am connected to my Wi-Fi network and I'm not connected by Ethernet. To do this, you must go through the Wi-Fi network. And by the way, you need to be connected to the same Wi-Fi network on both the PC you're using and the Android TV box you will be connecting to. Bottom right-hand corner, when I hover over my network connection, I can see that I am connected to my Wi-Fi network. Again, same access point that my Android TV box is connected to. Also, Surfshark VPN check. I want to make sure that Surfshark is connected prior to downloading and installing or using any of these third-party unverified apps. You will see that I am connected and it has assigned me an anonymous IP address. So I am protected. I'm just going to minimize that, leave that running in the background. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open the TroyPoint toolbox in the browser here. I am on a Windows 11 PC. I'm using my Chrome browser. I'm going to go troypoint.com/TB for toolbox. And this is the same toolbox that we instruct you to use on your streaming devices. I'm going to scroll down and you're going to see down at the bottom of the list I have added a Windows PC downloads section. And for this tutorial, there's two items I want to download and install. We have Android TV tools and Windows ADB drivers. So I'm going to start with this top one. Download is done. You'll see that this comes in a zipped up package. I'm going to right click this, hit extract all, click extract, and here are the new programs. I'm going to hit the up button in Windows Explorer. There's no need to leave this RAR file. I'm going to hit delete. Now we just have the folder with the two programs inside. Okay, now I want to install Windows ADB drivers. This will allow me to connect to my Android TV box. So I'm going to hit download. Top right hand corner, wait for the download to finish. There it is. And this one doesn't come zipped up, so we can just go ahead and run it. So I'm going to double click ADB and fast boot. Hit yes. Accept the agreement. Click next. Next again. Next. Now you can choose whether or not you want to create desktop shortcuts. I'm not going to do that because really we're not going to be opening any kind of app for this in the future. But you definitely want to keep this checked here. Add to system path environment. Hit next. Install. Okay, now we get this installation screen. I'm going to choose Install Universal ADB Driver as well. So there's going to be 3 items checked. Hit Finish. Okay, now it says, please disconnect your Android device before installing Universal ADB Driver. I don't have an Android device connected to my PC right now, so that doesn't matter. So I'm going to hit Next. Install Universal ADB Driver for yourself. I'm going to leave everyone checked so everyone on this computer can use it. Next. Next. And now we're just going to wait for this to install. Hit yes when you see this. Okay, the Universal ADB driver has been installed. I'm going to hit close. And right after that installs, we get this toolkit. There's no need to use this. We can go ahead and close this window. Okay, back to the download section of Windows Explorer. Now moving forward, the only thing I'm going to be using is this here, Android TV Tools version 3. In the future, this developer may release updates to this, so you might see version 4, version 5, and so on. But for now, we're on version 3. I'm going to go ahead and delete the installation for ADB and Fastboot. We don't need that anymore. Got a clean workspace to work with now, and this is the only thing we'll be using in the future. Okay, once we connect to the Android TV box, the first feature of the tool that I want to cover is batch install or mass install of applications. This is very handy when setting up a new Android TV box. In this example, I will be using a new Onn 4K Pro Android TV box. Now to do this, we first have to download the installation files for these Android apps. Those are referred to as APKs, and I'm just going to do that right through the TroyPoint toolbox. And what we're going to be doing is saving those APK files directly into the root folder here of the Android TV Tools folder. And then when we connect to the Android box, it's going to see those applications that are available for install. So I'm going to minimize my Windows Explorer window there. Okay, I'm going to start with the Surfshark VPN application. I'm going to hit the download button. It's asking me where to save this. It defaults to download. I'm going to go into Android TV Tools folder, and I'm going to save it in this location. Hit the save button. And if I open the Windows Explorer, you're going to see there that the surfshark.apk file is listed. I'm going to get the most recent stable release of Kodi. Again, saving this in the Android TV Tools folder. I'm going to download the recent TroyPoint Kodi fork. Stable release of TVMate. Project Ivy Launcher. Sideload Launcher. MX Player. And I'm going to finish with Remote ADB App. Okay, now when we look in this folder, you're going to see that we have filled it up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 applications. So now that we have our apps, we can connect to the new Onn 4K Pro Android TV box. But before we do that, need to move over to that device and do a few things to get it ready for the connection. Okay guys, as I've mentioned, this is a brand new Onn 4K Pro Android TV box. We need to get this ready to connect to the computer. I'm going to go into settings, and I want to mention this again. You need to make sure that you're connecting this Android TV box to the same wireless network that your computer is connected to. Neither of them can be running off your Ethernet cable. They must be connected to Wi-Fi through the same access point. Okay, I'm going to go into System, About. I'm going to highlight Android TV OS Build and click it 7 times. It says you are now a developer. I'm going to go back to the previous screen, go into Developer Options, and we want to turn on USB debugging. Hit OK. Back to the home screen. Okay guys, we're now ready to connect our Windows PC to this streaming box. So I'm going to head back over to my Windows machine and get these hooked up. Okay, back to the PC. I'm going to go ahead and double click Android TV Tools V3 English. Okay, now it's asking us for the IP address of the box we're connecting to. So I'll go back into Settings, System, About, Status, and you're going to see your IP address there, and it's typically 192.168 and then some numbers following. And you'll see mine ends in 0.25. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in. I'm going to hit the Enter button. Okay, on the screen, you're going to see we get this prompt. I want to put a check in the Always Allow from this computer box and then push Allow. Okay, I'm going to type the IP address back into the Android TV Tools prompt. Hit Enter. Try it again. Connected to Wi-Fi network. Press any key to continue. And now we have the menu where we can start accessing these different utilities. Now, as you can see in the previous steps, I typed in my IP address a few times. So just keep doing that until you see a connection. Okay guys, there's all kinds of different things that you can do with this tool. I suggest exploring what this has to offer. I'm going to only cover the real important ones in this tutorial, and in the future I may be diving back into this to go over some different things we can do. So the first thing I want to do is number 2, install apps. If you remember, we already downloaded a bunch of applications through the TroyPoint toolbox, put them in the Android TV tools folder. So let's try that now. So I'm going to hit number 2, enter. And now before I do this, I want to go back to the home screen of my Onn 4K Pro. And I want to go to the apps section so we can witness while this batch install process is happening. We can watch these install in real time on the screen. So I'm going to hit 3, mass installation of apps, enter. Do you want to mass install the apps you had in the folder? Y, enter. And now we're just going to let it sit here and perform the task. And there it goes, installing APKs. And then if you see on the screen here, they're automatically installing. Okay, it looks like the process has finished. Now, if you remember, I had 8 applications that I was installing. However, we only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, one of them, there isn't support for the icon or the shortcut, so that's why it's not showing, and that's why I installed Sideload Launcher. If we open that, you're going to see the one that isn't showing, Remote ADB Shell. That's why I always like installing Sideload Launcher, to get to those apps that don't show properly within Android TV. Okay, back to the previous screen. I'm going to go through some other things that we can do with this Android TV Tools program. Now I'm going to go up and into Settings, System, Developer Options, and if you remember, we have these 3 items that we change at the bottom here: window animation scale, transition animation scale, and animator duration scale. You've probably seen in my past tutorials where I always change these to 0.5. Well, it appears that Android TV Tools does that as well. So let's see what happens here when we go into number 8, optimizations. Number 1, increase the speed of animations. And then it gives us options, either double the speed or you can restore the default. So we will choose double. 1, hit enter. It says optimizing animations, done. Press any key to continue. So let's go back to the previous screen. I'm going to back out a few screens, go back in. And you're going to see these have now been changed to 0.5. We just had to back out, go back in for it to refresh. So basically you're doing the same thing within the Android TV Tools as you used to manually do through this section here. Now there's other things, as you can see here, we can do. Number 2, improve performance. Let's go ahead and try that. It says implement improvements for general use. It says it has completed. Hit enter. Enable the processing speed management system. Let's give that a shot. Hit 1. That's important. If you notice something that's not working properly with your device, you can always come back in here and go back to restore default settings. That has been completed. Hit enter. And then we have number 5, optimize performance. You'd think that number 5 and 2 would be the same, but apparently they're not. So I'm going to hit 5, enter. We'll hit yes, enter. Running performance optimizations. That's important to note. Lots of this, what we're doing right now, it's probably going to help more in the future after you've used your streaming device for a certain amount of time. Doing this on a brand new device probably won't help much, because it's probably going through and cleaning up files that are no longer needed. Okay, it looks like that has finished. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this window, and that's all I'm going to do in this optimization section. So I'm going to go back to 0, main menu. Now I'm going to go into section 4, custom settings. Now we've already taken care of number 1. You can enable, disable GPS location. A lot of these are just settings that you can manipulate yourself on the box with the remote. But if you want to go through quickly, many of these options will be right at your fingertips, so you can do them on one screen here. Remove ads. I'm assuming that's just going to install an ad blocker. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the previous screen. Now I'm going to go into number 7. I was showing you earlier the ADB Shell app that wasn't showing properly on the Android TV box that we had to use Sideload Launcher to get to. You're going to see number 1 there. We can do the same thing with this tool with a keyboard. Many times we are typing in long strings into that ADB Shell app with the remote. It's going to be much easier with a keyboard through the computer, so that's what number 1 would be for. And you're going to see there's just all kinds of different things that you can do with this tool. I'm going to hit the X button to go to the next screen. We don't need number 10, install Google Play Store. We already have that. Back to the main menu. Okay, I'm going to go back into number 2. We were already in there earlier when we did the mass installation of apps. There's also some other cool things in here. Remove bloatware. Number 6. It says it's not found. Let's install it. Press any key to continue. Okay, it looks like it has been installed. Press any key to continue. It tells you a little bit about what this will do. Now it's opening another window, and it's going to allow us to get rid of these various Android background processes that we probably don't need. You're going to see we have a recommended section. And then if you know what you're doing, you can come through here and get rid of other items if you know exactly what they are. For now, I'm just going to go through here and uninstall the recommended options. Okay, we're done with that. Hit the refresh button. I'm going to exit out of this window. Back to the tool. Hit 0. Now I'm going to go into number 9, generate icons for installed apps that do not appear in the launcher. So you can use number 1 or number 2. Now number 1, it's going to take you to another website. It's kind of a cumbersome process, and this is to get those applications showing a shortcut, kind of like the ADB Shell app that I showed earlier. I don't mess with this. I just use Sideload Launcher, and that works perfectly for me, rather than going through the process of creating a new APK with a shortcut that works. But something that's very intriguing to me here is number 2. Install Play Store shortcut to display it in your launcher. And you're going to see here, there's no sign of Google Play. Really, the only way to open the actual Google Play Store is to use your remote and the microphone button and tell it to open Google Play. But one thing you will notice is in Sideload Launcher, it does show up here. But if you want to add the shortcut to the actual user interface of the Android TV system, we can do that with number 2. So I'm going to hit number 2, enter, press any key to continue, done. And you're going to see there, it added the shortcut right there on the screen. I launch it, and now we have Google Play with the push of a button without using the voice command. Okay guys, and the last thing I'm going to do in this video is make a backup of all these applications, and we're going to move over to a different Android TV device, and we're going to restore those applications on that system. This saves a ton of time if you want to set up additional Android TV devices in your house. You can quickly install all these apps that you currently have on your main device, or maybe you want to set up a streaming device for a friend, neighbor, family member. You can use this as well. So, apps, backup, and restore tool. I'm going to hit number 3, enter. And now I want to press number 1, extract user apps to PC. Type in 1, enter. Looks like it's installing an application that it needs to do this. AAPT. And you're going to see here another window opens on the computer in the back. I had to pull this forward, but you can see here it gives you the process of the backup. It says the task is completed. Press any key to continue, and we're back to the main screen. Now, when we go into our Android TV Tools folder, you're going to see here there's a new folder for Apps Backup. Go into that. Here's a backup folder, and you'll see here it has all of our applications backed up onto the computer. So now I'm going to move over to a different Android TV device, and we're going to restore these applications onto that device without going through the cumbersome process of installing all of them. Okay, I'm going to be using the Google Streamer 4K to push these backed up applications onto. Now, since we're currently connected here, you'll see to the Onn 4K, I need to disconnect. So I'm going to hit 0 at the bottom to exit. It says disconnected everything. Okay, just like the Onn 4K Pro, I've got to get the Google Streamer 4K set up so we can connect to it. Into settings. Again, I'm connected to the same network as my PC, wireless network that is. Go into System, About, highlight Build, click it 7 times. You are now a developer, back button. Go into Developer Options and turn on USB debugging. Okay? Back button, go back to About, Status, and you'll see here the IP address is 192.168.1.31. So on my PC, I'm going to go back into Windows Explorer under Downloads, Android TV Tools version 3. I'm going to open the program. I'm going to type in the IP address, hit enter, click the check box, always allow, click allow. We're going to type the IP address back in, type it in again, connected to Wi-Fi. And back to the familiar Android TV Tools menu. Now we want to go into number 3, Apps Backup and Restore. We backed up previously, now we want to restore. So I'm going to hit 3, 2, Restore User Apps. Okay, it's asking what backup we want to restore. There's a window that opened behind this one, so I'm going to click that. It's option 1. It's the only one in here. So I'm going to type in 1, enter. Press any key to continue. And now back to the Google TV streamer. You're going to see we are in the apps section, just waiting for that to populate. And you can see here, I clicked this window that was behind the main Android TV Tools window, and it's going through the installation process here. But you can also see on the actual screen of the Google TV Streamer 4K that is now starting to populate with these apps as well. Process completed. You're going to see it installed 15 applications, which means it brought over some of the system apps from the Onn 4K Pro. If you remember, I only installed 8 applications onto that, so it brought over an additional 7. But if you don't want those, you can easily go into Settings, Apps, and you can come through here and get rid of the apps that you don't want. One of them that came over from the 4K is Tubi. You can just come in here and uninstall it. Now, the number one question is going to be, does it also bring over the user settings for the individual apps? Unfortunately, it does not. I haven't found any type of restore tool that will do that for Android devices. And you will notice here on the Onn 4K Pro, I already had my Surfshark username and password attached to it. Now when I open Surfshark on the Google TV Streamer 4K, you're going to see my login credentials are not attached to it. So unfortunately, you still have to go through your various applications and set those up. And then on my Windows PC, one thing I do want to show you, I'm going to press number 2 to install, hit enter. Let's assume we just wanted to install a few applications for number 1, side load. I'm going to press number 1. Again, it's looking in the same base folder. If you do use this, it's still looking at these files here. So if you don't want to do a mass install, you can do application by application. And the reason I point this out is I do want to show you something here. So number 1, hit enter. Press any key to continue. What is the APK file you want to install? So it's opening these windows in the back, so I'm going to bring these to the front. The reason I bring this to your attention is you're going to see here when you open this window, there's nothing showing. You just got to scroll up, and then the applications will be here by the number, and then you can install each application individually if you don't want to mass install all of them. So if you ever encounter a window that opens on your PC that's blank, more than likely you just have to scroll up. Now, guys, the developer of the Android TV tools is asking for input, and I will provide a link in the video notes so you can go to that page and provide input to this developer. Huge thanks goes out to this person for developing this awesome application for Windows. I kindly ask that you give this video a thumbs up. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to be notified when I release new videos like this in the future. And as a reminder, everything that I referenced in this video will be linked in the video notes below, so be sure to access those notes because it will provide you with everything that you need. Guys, thank you very much for following Troy Point. Have an awesome day.